Yo, what's good YouTube? ZAMCRO here, aka Scoop, back with the APA Evolution, covering some more of the playoff overview. On Thursday, no, excuse me, on Wednesday, I uploaded all the games pretty much live. Had a live reaction for a replay in one of them, but I was able to catch the other three games, the first three games of the playoffs, live as they were happening. I recommend you go check that out if you're following the APA playoffs through these videos. And yeah, I'll let you go check that out real quick if you haven't. And I assume that if you're still here, then you're already caught up, or you just don't mind spoilers, or whatever it may be. Anyways, the New York Empoleons defeated the Orlando Magikarps and have advanced here to the semifinals. The Aussie Kangaskhangs defeated the Boston Bulldogs and also advanced here, where they will be facing off against the New York Empoleons. It is a straight bracket instead of, lowest remaining seed versus the number one seed and so on and so forth. It's just a straight bracket, meaning 1v8 faces the winner of 4v5 regardless. So 5 beat 4, and here we have EN or Lapis taking on Goldoa Dragon, coach of the New York Empoleon. So that's an interesting matchup, which we'll get into a second. And we have the Chicago Conquerors, coached by Dave, Big Daddy Dave, taking on the Floridian Typhlosions, where Chicago defeated last week Green Bay, and Floridian defeated the number 2 seed, the Galactic Greninjas, now facing the number 3 seed. So not having any luck with these seed matchups in terms of facing high seeds. And if he wins here and advances to play the number 1 seed, that would be insane. To face the 1, 2, and 3 seeds would be completely insane. But before all that can even happen, we have to look into these matches and see what's actually going to be happening. Recall, I guess, a quick recap on each squad, and then talk about the matchups a little bit, and then I'll give my predictions at the end on who I think is going to actually win the matchups, like I did last week in my first overview of the playoffs. So for the first matchup, the New York Empoleons versus the Aussie Kangaskhangs. The New York Empoleon have Tapu Koko, Scizor, Nidoqueen, Hawlucha, Incineroar, Gardevoir, Ditto, Vaporeon, Druddigon, Rotom, and Sawsbuck. So it's the Sawsbuck team, the Koko Lucha squad, the double fairy squad with Koko and Gardevoir. Very, very cool squads. Played fantastically over the season and is on a 6-game win streak right now, including a round 1 playoff win, obviously. And going to be facing off against the Aussie Kangaskhangs, who have a squad consisting of the Megalodios, Heatran, Suicune, Togekiss, Hippowdon, Sneasel, Aerodactyl, Heliolisk, and the Buzzwole. So, yeah, pretty interesting matchup there. Tapu Koko, such a threatening mon, despite, the opponent having, I guess, Hippo for sure. Obviously, it doesn't appreciate Grass Knot or Bloom Doom or anything like that, and Heliolisk, the only two things that can switch in to the dual stab of Tapu Koko. I guess Heatran can switch in on the fairy type moves, Heliolisk on the electric type moves, Megalodios on the electric type moves, and then Hippo can take both, but like I said, don't appreciate Bloom Doom or a Grass Knot. So yeah, Tapu Koko is very, very threatening in this matchup. Blows through Suicune, Togekiss, speed ties with the Aerodactyl. So yeah, just a really fantastic mon to have overall. Outpaces the entirety of Lapis's squad, which, well, except for Aerodactyl, it's a speed type. But realistically, I guess Arrow would be the one to go max speed. I don't think Tapu Koko would try to speed tie with it. I think Tapu Koko is much better off running a lot more bulk and being able to just outpace potentially just the Sneasel. And looking at the Goldoa squad, if Lapis does decide to bring Sneasel, he's not forced to run like a Jolly Nature. He is actually able to run a Adamant Nature, as well as if he wanted to on Megalodios, not run Timid, he could run Modest. But yeah, I think speed creeping a Adamant Max Speed Sneasel or a Megalodios is most optimal with the Tapu Koko, and then it can just U-turn, Thunderbolt, Dazzling Gleam pretty much throughout the entirety of the match. Potentially maybe have Roost or Taunt or something. Anyways, yeah, Tapu Koko is a huge threat, but Lapis, like I said, you got a very threatening squad as well. Suicune on its own right can be very, very annoying. However, the electric terrain from Godoa's Tapu Koko really hinders the amount of sets it can run, and really prevents things like Rest Buzzwole and things like that. Heatran's a fantastic switch in to Scizor and could potentially pack a Z move, which is very interesting in this matchup. Speaking of Z moves, I guess Tapu Koko. Okay, Tapu Koko and the Rotom are Z move users for the New York Empoleon, and for the Aussie Kangaskhan's we have Heatran and Aerodactyl. Megalodios is a huge threat. I don't guess that Godoa has the best answers to it, outside of like maybe Gardevoir and like a very, very bulky Scizor with a potential Aqua Berry, or just using Ditto to prevent setup spam, like from a Dragon Dance or a Calm Mind variant and things like that. But yeah, very interesting matchup overall. I'm going to have to give the slight advantage in matchup to the New York Empoleon. I think Tapu Koko is really, really good in this matchup, and with the combination of Nidoqueen, Gardevoir, let me just look for just another second here at the squads. I think Vaporeon's a must bring. It's a really good switch into the Heatran. So you got Tapu Koko, Nidoqueen. I would say Vaporeon. Don't really have a Buzzwole switch in, so maybe bring in Ditto of your own to turn into a Buzzwole, since Buzzwole checks Buzzwole pretty well. And maybe Hawlucha. Maybe. Not necessarily, but maybe. But yeah, that's going to be my thoughts on the number 1 seed versus the number 5 seed. Next up, we've got the number 3 seed versus the number 7 seed, and the Chicago Conquerors taking on the Floridian Typhlosions, Dave taking on Silver. So Dave has Mega Gallade, which automatically puts him at an advantage, and it doesn't help that Silver has a squad consisting of Landorus and Incarnate, which is dropped by Ice Punch, Mega Gardevoir, which is could potentially be nerfed with Throat Chop. Ferrothorn drops to the close combat. Araquanid, I guess Araquanid can take a hit. I guess it doesn't take like 2 stone or Zen headbutts or anything like that. Close combat blows through Goodra, Alolan Persian, Arcanine, Nianshao. Throat Chop blows through the Starmie, and again, close combat blows through the Rotom Frost. So with that coverage alone, Ice Punch, Throat Chop, and close combat, everything pretty much drops 1 to 2 shots outside of Araquanid and like a bulky Arcanine. However, if he brings like a Swords Dance variant, a Swords Dance Mega Gallade, then Alolan Persian's Foul Play could be really, really, really nice. So I'm pretty sure Mega Gardevoir gets Thunderbolt, which means it's very, very valuable in this matchup, able to bring something like Psyshock and Thunderbolt, as well as I would go Moonblast over Hyper Voice, because Mega Gallade has the ability to run Throat Chop, and you would still want to hit it with a Fairy type move. So I would run Moonblast. So Moonblast, Psyshock, and Thunderbolt, and maybe like Taunt or Wish or something like that as last move. That's a really, really nice Mega Gardevoir set. Allows him to break through the Toxapex, the Skarmory, and even the Blissey with the Psyshock, which is really nice. Landorus Incarnate's a huge threat. Also, a mon that really likes to break Dave's squad down, such as Toxapex and Skarmory. Now, Landorus has 2 different ways to hit Skarmory. one being a smackdown into earth power, and the other being gravity into earth power. And I think gravity is the better play because you have Skarmory and Zapdos. You don't want to continuously have to click smackdown as you get hit or something like that. You can just click gravity once, and then everything is grounded, even Noivern, and you can just spam earth power to blow through Zapdos, Toxapex, and Skarmory, and pack something like knockoff or superpower. Maybe even Earthquake for the Blissey, just so you have something to hit that for a little bit more damage since it's a special defense tank. Araquanid's webs are really good if you can keep Zapdos and Skarmory from being able to defog. Don't necessarily have anything to take advantage of defog, but you can always switch something like Rotom in on Zapdos and Skarmory and just have a pretty much a free Volt Switch out, and if he does go into Dugtrio, which is one of Chicago squad we'll go over it. Mega Gallade, Zapdos, Toxapex, Mimikyu, Skarmory, Dugtrio, Blissey, Noivern, Delphox, and Shiftry, where his Z-move users are, I believe, Mimikyu and Dugtrio. And Silver's Z-move users are Alolan Persian and Arcanine. I've already went over his squad. So, yeah, what I was saying was Rotom Frost can blow through the Dugtrio as well. So Rotom Frost is a really good breaker in this matchup as well with Landorus, Incarnate, Mega Gardevoir. And, yeah, it's quite a mouthful there. The biggest problem I see Mega Gallade having is just being outsped by things like Starmie, and Alolan Persian, being able to be hit with like Foul Play, and Arcanine with the Intimidate, and potentially rocking a Rocky Helmet and having the Roar, as normally Mega Gallade could potentially use it as setup fodder with Sub, Bulk Up, or something like that. I do expect Roar on Arcanine if it comes. And again, Landorus looks really, really nice in the match in terms of breaking his squad. I see Gravity, Earth Power, Super Power, and maybe even Rock Polish as your last move, since you don't really need a last move, and you could use Landorus sort of as like a late game win condition with Rock Polish to outpace the majority, if not all, of his squad. Really interesting matchup there. I think hazard stack options for Silver is really nice. Spikes, webs, stealth rocks, things like that. Pressures the Zapdos, the Skarmory, keeps the sturdy broken. Forces Delphox to take 25% upon switch in, Zapdos 25% upon switch in, puts certain things in range of certain OHKOs or 2-hit KOs. Looks like a really fun matchup though. Dang, Mega Gallade's so threatening, so I'm just going to have to give the slight advantage in matchup to the Chicago Conquerors, despite, not having the best switch-ins to things like Mega Gardevoir. This one's a really, really tight one. I could call it even, but what fun would that be? So we're going to give it to the higher ranked seeds this week, the number 1 and the number 3 seeds in terms of matchup. But yeah, it's going to be it for matchup. We can go ahead and hop into my actual pick'ems. Alright, so my pick'ems, round 2 pick'ems, I'm going to be taking the New York Empoleons over the Aussie Kangaskhanks and the Chicago Conquerors over the Floridian Typhlosions. I really feel like both of these matches could go either way, but like I said, slight advantage to both of the green check marks because of the Tapu Koko and because of the Mega Gallade. Very, very threatening Pokemon, and they set with a really good speed tier in these matchups to really perform well and have a fantastic matchup, especially the Tapu Koko matching up well versus things like Suicune, Togekiss, Sneasel, Megalodios, being able to pack coverage for things like Hippowdon. Looks really, really nice, especially backed by the electric terrain and being able to outpace the entirety of Lapis' squad outside of Speedtine with Aerodactyl, which isn't a reliable switch in to Koko whatsoever anyway. And again, Mega Gallade just has no switch ins in terms of Silver Squad unless he brings a defensive Rocky Helmet, Intimidate, Arcanine with Roar, so that he can never be set up on, and he can always get the chip damage off, Morning Sun Up or something like that, and then Roar out. Or Morning Sun Up initially. Roar out initially and Morning Sun Up later versus things like Skarmory or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on round 2 of the playoffs. A little bit of a recap for round 1. at the beginning there, but eventually dove into the matchups here, the rosters, the coaches, the performances on the season, things like that, all influence my picks here. But it's mostly matchup and two specific months in general, like I keep stressing. But yeah, it's going to be it for my thoughts on the semifinals. Let me know what you guys think. Who do you guys think is going to win? And I'll be trying to catch these games live as well. I believe both games are going to be played on Friday night. So this is actually going to be going up on probably after their game. See here, I'm recording my predictions on Thursday the 6th. And yeah, that's probably going up on 8 o'clock, or I mean noon on Saturday, noon EST. Or I might try to put it up right after my Friday upload, which is going to be tomorrow's. So that's going to be a surprise. Today's upload is a surprise too. Anyways, that's going to be it. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.